Hello and welcome everyone. Today we will talk about The Brave New World, which was written by Aldous Huxley. First, I will show one movie and one TV series about this novel, and the movie named Brave New World, which was brought to the big screen in 1998 by American director Leslie Williams, and the TV series which was made into a TV series directed by Auburn Harris in 2020. So you must be well familiar with it, right? So let's take a look at what the novel is about. The introduction of the author, Aldous Huxley. So Huxley was an English author of more than 50 books, including poems, stories, articles, philosophical treatises, and plays. His works, especially his most famous and controversial novel Brave New World, has served as a social critical of the ill time. And about the book, Brave New World was published in 1932. It is one of the most classic dystopian literature of the 20th century, along with George Orwell's 1984 and Zan McKean's V. The three dystopian books have had a far-reaching influence around the world. And in this brave new world, although everyone can lie and work in food and clothing, desire can be satisfied at any time, and there is no sorrow and pain, but human individuality and freedom must stay fight. Art and literature are buried, and even happiness and sorrow are lost. The definition of the utopia. So the utopian comes from novel utopia from writing by Thomas More, the founder of utopian socialism in Britain. It means no place or good place, which expresses human yearning for an ideal world. Utopia can be described as an imaginary place where people live in perfect order with each other and nature. The idea of utopian dates back to Greek philosophers who discussed and addressed the burning issue of their time. They were concerned with the state that society was in and tried to reach a compromise between the materialistic and the spiritual. The goal of this compromise was to create a world where the balance of these opposed sides could be stable and the perfect society could be formed. And the dystopia. Dystopian is nature to think of imagining a better world than the one we live in. Throughout the world, some of the most popular writers have created moral debates by setting human wisdom and knowledge into works called utopias and dystopias, the latter of which sometimes better known as anti-utopias. So to understand what dystopia means, it's important to know what utopia is. According to Erica Toleb in her 2001 book Dystopian, Fiction East and West in the World of Terrell and Trail, dystopian society consists of needs seeds of utopian dreams. And the characteristic about the utopian and dystopia. So the utopian in a brave new world, utopian is achieved through the elimination of shortages and excessive psychological adjustment. No matter what the economy needs, there will never be a shortage of labor because the needs of the economy have long been predicted. Dystopian. Dystopia takes us into a tragic and disparate reality. And if the warnings are not heeded and the problems described are not addressed, a frightening future can be revealed. What makes utopias and dystopias quite important is that they adapt to social systems at a fundamental, systemic level. They discuss the various occasions and show us revolutionary solutions. Let's take the three keywords. First is the volcanoscification. One egg, an embryo, one adult normality, but a volcanoscified egg will bud, will proliferate, will divide from 8 to 96 buds, and the red bud will grow into a perfectly formed embryo, and every embryo into a full-sized adult, making 96 human beings grow where only one grew before. And the hateful children are more receptive to sleep teaching than adults, in addition to receiving good education during the day. The supplement in it was sleep education and at night. People love their social mention. They go smoothly and orderly on the paved roads. Society is also allowed to mentor when a false stability. Neopolovin. In Neopolovin, the baby enters a room filled with books and roses. Alarm and sirens go off when the baby gets close to a book or rose, and the baby receives a electric shock. It frightens them so much that they recoil, fear when confronted with the same object at a second time. In the New World, constitution is synonymous with happiness, the instant gratification of everyone's needs, and the debt for food, sex, medicine, and other consumer goods. In the book, people are controlled by the ruling class, giving up their freedom for a comfortable life. They advocate constitution, immerse themselves, work, and entertainment every day, and forget all their troubles by summer. This is what the utopian society the book shows us. And the dystopian narrative often uses technological advances as a way of indoctrination and manipulation of society. The best example for that is the teaching method that appears in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. Dystopian narrative uses the unseen and examined weapons against society as Tom Mullen states. So I think the utopian society in Brave New World is a false freedom. Sexual gratification is a false illusion. It is incompatible with the truth. The desire to sing truth is a personal desire, but it cannot exist in a world devoid of individuality and thought. And in the economic values of modern society, individual happiness is defined as the ability to satisfy needs, and social success equals economic development and prosperity. People are gradually forgetting what happiness really means. True freedom requires a balance between material freedom and spiritual freedom. Less obsession with material freedom, more attention to spiritual freedom is the most sensible choice for an independent individual. So I hope we can cherish our present freedom and create our own wonderful life with our unique one. So this is all who teach. So thanks for listening.